Yeah, it's been some years. What was it? Do you remember lots of stories from the set?
Yes, I do.
Lots of rain
from the set. It was a very intense set, actually, because when you have Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien and Blue Thunder, it's going to be intense. So, one actor, Clea Gallagher, and him kind of didn't see eye to eye. So things were thrown, like, at heads and stuff like that. And Dan would run into other rooms and get mad if he heard something going on. They actually, for the girl who plays Tina, she kept getting scared on this one step. And so what they did was they sent her up to wardrobe and they made it a real breakaway step without telling her, which is wrong. And so when she went down, she fell. And she was bruised head to toe. I mean, badly. And they didn't even use the shot.
Oh, insult to injury.
It's horrible, yeah.
I guess you guys shot in a lot of rain, so what was that like?
That was not fun. It gets cold in LA at night, and we had to be in these rain machines all the time, and we would just be waiting, they call speed, rain, and then action. So we were just sitting there going, oh no, no, no. And when they turned on, it was so horrible, because we felt like we'd be freezing.
So, does anyone have questions? You first?
Oh.
All right. So, I mean, you had a combination of cast. You have the older actors, but you also had a lot of young actors on set. Were there any on-set romances?
Well, I don't know if it was on set or not, but that's a good question. No one's asked me. Beverly Randolph, who played Tina, and her husband Clayton, well, now her husband, he was working props and things, and scenery and things like that. And they're married. So I don't know if there was any fooling around or not going on. I didn't see it, but it could have been. But that was about it. I didn't see anything else. Miguel was flirting with everyone. Who plays Spider, he was flirting with everyone, being funny, and that was all that happened romantically. It's too cold.
Too much rain.
Yeah.
The graveyard set, what do you remember from some of those shots?
I actually was very happy to be in the graveyard sets because I wasn't wet or zombified or anything. I remember it was an olive grove in Sylmar, and they turned it into a graveyard, which was amazing. I couldn't believe that they could make it look so real. And the way they had the zombies coming out, it looked so real. So I was very impressed with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is now. They're probably built over it now, building out. I wish I could have got a house right on there.
I wonder if some of those props still exist, some of the sign and tombstones.
I bet some of those props do exist somewhere. Somebody's holding on to them.
And the makeup you wore, you only see it for a handful of frames with the exaggerated giant mouth. What was that like, and how many hours were you in that?
Oh my God, they did 2 of them. They did one with this makeup artist, Bill Munns, and they weren't happy with it after me going through hours of makeup. Then they said, okay, we're gonna have to do a pickup shot. So they had, who was it? A good makeup artist. I can't remember his name now, but he came in and did it. And it had the exaggerated amount that you said, which I wore for hours and hours and hours. And I couldn't drink, because the jaw was like, or the mouth was here, and so I couldn't really get anything to drink. And I asked them, I go, if I do this again, I want a Valium. And so they had a doctor on set, and he like, you know, put the Valium down my throat some way. And then I'm out in the rain again and did the pretend bite, which is like 2 seconds, like you said.
1 second. I mean, it's a cool looking
1 second.
see photos of it, but yeah, I'm like watching
But it's so
like,
quick.
you don't ever see it.
And I'm pretty sure when I'm walking toward the bone, I think I have it all on, too. I know I had the white makeup on, which was waterproof, and I would get home and I could not get it off. You know, we'd quit working at like 6 a.m. and then you go home and you fill it up. And it wouldn't wash off. It just was waterproof. So I was like, you know, caked with this white makeup.
So does anyone have some more questions?
Your dance scene, was that choreographed or did you improvise that?
I improvised my whole dance. I just went up there and did it. They didn't choreograph it or anything. And I was actually dancing to Nasty Girl. So it was a totally different song, but I just got up there and did what I had to do and, you know, hoped it would work. And I almost passed out because they have them going around me with road flares at one point, and the sulfur was just coming up right into me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I gotta stay upright, please. So I made it. Thank goodness I'm here. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh boy, my favorite film that I've worked on. Woo. Yeah, it is Sorority Babes. I had a really fun time doing Sorority Babes. Playing the badass and you know, just the kind of saving the day and having fights and things like that. I love doing that. So that one, and there's one that probably no one has seen called Treasure of the Moon Goddess, because we went to Mexico City, we went to Mazatlan, we went to the Philippines, and filmed it. So it was like a lot of traveling and a lot of camaraderie and just insaneness.
Yeah, I heard filming in the Philippines can be crazy. So.
Yeah, it's like, I was very scared filming in the Philippines, yes.
Any others?
Number of the actors from this film show up again in Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Did they approach you to return?
No, they didn't approach me. They said, oh, you guys will work for SAG, you know, minimum, and the next film will pay you a lot more. I heard that on my other DVDs too, so. When they say that to you, do not believe it. Unless you're like James Bond or something. But then even, you can be, you know, tossed away too.
He directs his own films, he can't be thrown away.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I just saw Mission Impossible. I know most people don't like Tom Cruise, but I love the fighting and stuff and the unbelievability of it.
Crazy action.
Yeah, it's like all these action scenes, and you know, he's right in the spot where he's supposed to be at that time, and they all know technology, and they all look good, and it's just crazy.
Anything else before we wrap this up and go right into Return of the Living Dead 2?
Quick question. I'm Jeff back here. So, how was working with Linda Blair in Savage Streets? Do you have any fond memories working with her?
I was terrified working with Linda Blair because the actress they had for rehearsals and everything was Shirley Curry from The Runaways. And we had a meeting at the producer's house, and in walks Linda Blair, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Linda Blair. Or I've seen her in The Exorcist and Born Innocent and all those TV movies. And I was like, they're going to fire me, because they were firing a lot of people because we're the same age, the same height. She's got brown hair and brown eyes. I don't. So I thought, oh God, they're going to fire me. I'm going to be fired. And I wasn't, thank goodness. But it was kind of intimidating working with her a little bit. She's really nice and everything, but she's got that other side, which I luckily didn't see.
Was she really into her cause with like, you know, animal rescue and all that stuff back then? Or is that something more current that she's in now?
No, she wasn't into the animal causes, unless you consider Rick James an animal.
It depends on what kind of drugs he was on.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Another question was Tavis Street. This is one of my more favorite films. The very uncomfortable scene that you had to perform in there, was that the most difficult scene that you had to do in a film that you were in?
Oh boy. Yeah, I'd say so. It was like kind of difficult because those guys were really serious. And when they were throwing me around before we go into the bathroom, I would get caught on their buttons, and I'm like, oh my God, let me get myself free before they're gonna throw me, you know, because that would hurt. And they didn't break character. One of them did, but it was just scary because they didn't break character a little bit.
Did you have to take a volume for that too?
No, I didn't take any value for that. But the director did ask me, he wanted to have blood running down my legs and mucus, and I said, I think that's too much. I think we'll leave it as it is.
Going back to Return of the Living Dead, working with Dan O'Bannon, do you have any fond memories working with him? Because he is kind of iconic with certain horror films, especially Alien. Did you see Alien before you worked on Return of the Living Dead?
Oh yeah, I saw Alien way before I worked on that. I mean, I guess it wasn't that far, you know, after.
About 6 years.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely saw Alien. I was a big fan of Alien. I thought it was brilliant, and it was interesting to be working with the writer of Alien. And a lot of people had trouble with him. I didn't have any trouble with him. Yeah, I just like trusted him and went along with stuff, but there were people that would balk, and they wouldn't give him money also, which was a big thing. So he had a very low budget to work on.
In shooting Return of the Living Dead, you didn't have many scenes with, I don't think there were no scenes with Clu Gulager. On set, were you able to interact with him? Because he was so iconic with like a lot of films that were non-horror related, and then him doing this film was kind of like something that's a lot different, even though there was a comedic element to it.
I got more after the film involved with talking to Clu and James and those people, because you know we weren't in scenes together, but afterward we would do conventions together and just get-togethers, and I got to know Clu and James, and I knew Don because he was in Treasure of the Moon Goddess. We got to know each other well, and no romance, but it was mainly after the film that I really got to know people a lot better.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite films, Return of the Living Dead. Marcus, I have a quick question for you related to Return of the Living Dead. Now, you say this is one of your favorite films. Was there any inspiration watching this and growing up? Knowing this is like such an awesome movie?
You're not growing up.
Still trying to grow up.
Yeah.
Definitely like, yeah, the punk horror thing. I love that growing up. So that was inspiration for one of my earlier films, Rot, Punk's Puking Member.
I love the punk music. I mean, that really...
Yeah, this movie introduced me to the Cramps and the Damned, and, you know, a lot of good bands in it. 45 Grave.
Oh my God, yeah. I still get sad at the part, which, you know, when you do a movie, you don't usually get sad or upset. But when James Kieran puts his wedding ring on there and the music's playing and he's gonna kill himself, it's like, I always get sad at that part.
Any questions out there?
I think she had a question. No.
Stand up.
Where? In the balcony?
So in the balcony? Yell, scream.
What?
Favorite?
That I wasn't in?
Was.
Oh, was in. Horror film, okay. Return of the Living Dead, for sure. And, oh, God. Night of the Demons was fun, too, because I wanted to be the Angela character, of course. But mine was fun, too. I did not know what to do with those lines that were written, so I just did it, whatever. You know, because the language was like, I was older than them by a lot of years, and I didn't know how to say wuss. I'm like, is it woos or wuss? You know, and the camera's going around, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta remember if it's woos or wuss. You know, and then I get really confused.
She's still a very memorable character, though.
Oh, good. Sour balls. Do you have sour balls?
Sour ball.
That's a personal question.
I know it's personal. You don't want to say it on stage.
But your workout is amazing. Your horror workout, was that something that was like asked to do, or is that like an idea that you came up with?
Well, I was on the set of Murder Weapon. I was doing the scene where I'm like smashing somebody with a mallet, and it was pretty heavy. And you know, I had to do it again and again and again. And Ken Hall, who wrote a lot of the movies I did back then, like Nightmare Sisters and Sorority Babes, said, wow, you know, that's really a workout. And then we both kind of like clicked, and we said, yeah, you know, we have to run and do this, and we have to like do a lot of physicalities. So we just said, oh, wouldn't it be funny? And the next week we were doing it. In 2 days we did it.
Did Jane Fonda come after you and say, hey, that's my idea, you take it?
Jane Fonda was very quiet about it. It got so much attention though. It's like Entertainment Tonight, and all these people loved it. And we were like, okay. But it was fun.
Very workout.
Yeah, we had a funny thing happen though. We were filming in back of my parents' house in the mountains in Tujunga, and they had spent hours and hours and hours in the morning, you know, way early, putting the gravestones out and making it look real, and the graveyard. And then we did makeup down at my parents' of all the zombies, and then we even got a porta potty brought up there. Big budget. And so we get up there, and we pretty much were only filming for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden, the firemen are there. And this is like so remote. But what happened was a zombie was walking down to use the porta potty, and the firemen saw that in their truck and got freaked out. And then we were busted because we kept saying, oh, it's a student film, it's a student film. And so I kept them busy by going, well, technically, you know, well, we're stealing shots. And then I had someone else take over while they stole some more shots from there. You know, just trying to throw them off, like asking technically, isn't this like that and there and whatever, you know, just confusing them. So we got a few shots off, but then we had to, you know, do it just like at my parents' house. We had to think of something.
Shut that.
Oh yeah. Because once a month they do a fire thing, and we just happened to be on that day.
So the workout was more of a workout than the chainsaw and chainsaw hookers?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
I think the chainsaws were more of a workout because Fred Olin Ray said, okay, dance sexy with them. And I the next day was thinking about it, and I'm like, how am I going to dance sexy with the chainsaws?
They're heavy.
They're heavy, and I really took it serious. And I think he was just fucking with me, but it's just like I didn't know what to do. And then I had the big one, and that was heavy. But I think the dancing of the double virgin chainsaws or whatever was really hard. And I was in the sarcophagus, and the fumes were coming up. So when I walk out, if you do see the movie, I'm like that for a second because I was a little bit from inhaling that.
What was it like working with Gunnar?
Oh my gosh, Gunnar was a doll. He had not worked on anything since Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I remember waiting for a shot to come in, and I told him, God, Gunnar, if you went to conventions and stuff, people would want your autograph. I mean, my God, you were so big and blah, 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 blah. He's like, I don't think so. You know, he's like, I live in Maine. Nobody cares about me. That movie was years ago. And I go, no, I'm really. I got in touch with an agent, and all of a sudden he's doing these conventions like crazy. He couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
What was the first convention that you remember that you were a guest at?
What?
The first convention that you were a guest at.
Okay, the first convention was the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors in Los Angeles. And I didn't think anybody would even care. So I was going there and I was just nervous, oh, I'm gonna let them down and I'm gonna be embarrassed and I was really scared. And so we got there and people started getting around me, and I got really freaked out. I'm like, why? And I ran into the bathroom, and I had to compose myself for 15 minutes. I'm like, I don't know why they're doing this. Why are they doing this? So it took me a while to really be able to come out again, and I was mortified. I was like, why?
Oh, that's the beauty of your movies. They have a lot of, they have legs, like you do, really nice ones. So yeah, obviously, generations down the line, there's always going to be fans of your films. And as long as you're still around, you're still going to have people coming out to the conventions to see you and stuff. And you're going to have another generation because, my son, I'm going to have him watch Return of the Living Dead as soon as he's 2 years old. And he's going to be a fan of yours. And that's the plan. So then he can take his kids out to see, you if you're still around, hopefully. And
what do you mean still around?
Well, I'm talking 30 years. Am I going to get my ass kicked out from you?
I don't know what you mean by that exactly, but I'm going to take it as if I'm still acting.
Acting, yes. And looking beautiful, too.
Do you know something I don't know?
I don't know, maybe. Anyways, any other questions, quick?
Well, to the point of she is still acting. You recently were in a film by Todd Sheets, correct?
Yeah, I did 3 this year. I did The Last Thanksgiving, which is a horror film, Camp Twilight, which is a horror film, and Clownado, which is, I think, going to be a cult film by Todd Sheets. And there's a magazine by Phantasm that just came out. There's 2 different covers. They just did George Romero. It's about 45 pages of interviewing me and pictures I didn't know they had. And people like Lou Gulliver and James Kieran and Steve Johnson, my ex-husband, and Todd Sheets telling about me. I don't know what they've read because I'm terrified to read it still. I just got it the other day. But it's just a really cool magazine, and there's only 100 of them with the naughty cover and pictures inside, and then there's a regular one too.
great. If not, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break so you can go visit Linnea at the table. If you have any other questions, you can ask her there, get an autograph, and then we're going to start. What's that, Jason?
Return of the Living Dead 2.
Oh, and then there is a raffle for the big standee at the front. You can see Jason West. He's in the lobby in the hallway.
Don't breathe.
Yes, don't breathe.
There it is, right there.
Yay!
But yeah, so visit Linnea Quigley. We're going to start Return of the Living Dead Part 2 in about 10 minutes. Thank you.
Look at my name's up there. I'm like shocked. It's cool. Thank you so much. And I am going to still be here, okay? Uh-oh.
Somebody's busting house.
Oh no, you gotta.
You have to be careful of the zombies too.
Yeah, the zombies are very dangerous. They will eat your brains.
No, we actually have zombies here.
And they leave the rest of you behind. It's weird. Just your brains.